Understanding anaphoric reference and cataphoric reference. Both anaphoric reference and cataphoric reference are elements that point to objects or entities within a text. They are references that are limited to the content of a text, and such they do not rely on context to generate meaning. Both references, known as anaphoric references, point to linguistic elements in various positions in our text, as you will see in the following sections. Anaphoric reference. An anaphoric reference is a type of anaphoric reference that refers backward in a text. It points backward to certain or specific entities within a linguistic expression. Think of it as titles conferred on individuals. For instance, a man helps his village conquer an opposing force and his feats earn him the name, legend, protector. Now in this village, anytime you hear the title, legend protector, it quickly takes you back to a certain outstanding individual who helped his people gain victory over an opposing force, so the title refers back to the individual. Here is an example of anaphoric reference to buttress this point. Michael saw what happened yesterday, he was devastated by it. The third person personal pronoun, he, refers back to Michael in the text above. It points back to the source which it represents at a further position in the text, so the hearer or receiver of the text can deduce that what he, in the sentence above refers to, is recoverable from the text in which it appears, Michael, and is not dependent on the context of the discourse, or other variables like shared background knowledge. If you look closely at the sentence above, you would find yet another reference that refers back to an entity in the text. It refers back to the noun clause, what happened yesterday, so like in the case of he, it indicates that it's referent. The entity it refers to is recoverable from the same text in which it occurs due to its placement at the initial position of the text. In simpler words, we can deduce the entity that it refers to, which is what happened yesterday, without depending on the context of the discourse that facilitated its usage but from the text in which it is a constituent element. Other examples include, that man knows the dangers of night hiking, but he does it anyway. Teachers do their best in teaching students, even though they don't get paid nearly enough for their services. Jordan plays the basketball very well, he is a legend. Demon Slayer is the best anime I've ever watched. Eat eggs every day, they are good for you. Remember that anaphoric reference refers backward, so what they refer to or point at in a text must appear before them in the same text for the classification to be plausible. Cataphoric reference. Cataphoric reference is a type of anaphoric reference that refers forward in a linguistic expression. Unlike anaphoric reference, the reference appears before the referent in a text. It is a situation whereby the reference that identifies an entity in a text appears before the entity it points at. Take for example, the book you saw on the table is Complete English Grammar by Farlex. In the example above, the book you saw on the table is a cataphoric reference because it refers forward pointing at the noun phrase, Complete English Grammar by Farlex, which is the entity it refers to. As you can see, the reference appears before the entity it refers to in the text. Consider another example of cataphoric reference. He knew it was risky, yet John went ahead to confront the high chief of the village. In their text above, we have a single word, a third-person singular pronoun, acting as a cataphoric reference pointing to the noun, John, in the text. But that is not the only cataphoric reference in the example. If you look closely at it, you would be able to identify the other cataphoric reference in it, which is, it. It refers forward to confront the high chief of the village. To confront their high chief of the village is the referent of the cataphoric reference, it, because it is the situation described as being risky at the initial position of the text ably represented by it. Other examples include, those guys are bad news, I can't believe how close we were to being pummeled by the Brighton Busters. A man that keeps his word, Mr. John Levesque. She shines very bright at night. Lagos is a very busy place. One important fact to note about cataphoric references is that they always appear before the element they point to in a text. Importance of anaphoric reference and cataphoric reference: they prevent wordiness. They save writers the hassle of repetition. They ensure smooth flow in sentences. So there you have it. Anaphoric references are references that refer backward in a text, while cataphoric references refer forward. The elements or entities they refer to are recoverable from the text and not dependent on context of discourse or its variables. See you soon.